All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Can you believe it is episode 8 of the Hard Cam? And we are as excited as we were on week 1 to deliver to you guys some commentary. SmackDown was in Chicago this week, Raw was in Milwaukee, and what a time we had. As always, I want to start real quick with some recaps before we begin the show proper. Over on SmackDown, we only had 3 matches, 2 of which were pretty good. Sami Zayn would go against John Cena for a U.S. title match, and that match would end in disqualification. No contest. We'll explain why a little bit later. Aleister Black would then go on to defeat Damian Priest, followed by a Julia versus Michin match for the women's U.S. title, and Julia would retain. That's it. That's all the action we got on SmackDown. And then over on Raw, we kick things off with AJ Styles going against El Grande Americano Europeano, whatever you want to call him, followed by a match between Raquel Rodriguez and Lyra Valkyria. Raquel Rodriguez would against Lyra Valkyria. Rusev would then defeat Penta. Let that soak in for just a second. Rusev over Penta. Asuka would then face the legendary Nikki Bella and beat her. And then finally, in the main event, Bronson Reed would beat LA Knight in the main event of Raw. Well, there you have it. That's the quick recaps we always start with. As always, I'm joined for commentary angles by my brothers Dominic and Adrian, and the patriarch of the family, Mr. Jimmy Rhodes. Hey, fellas, how are you guys? How are you feeling? Are you ready for this?
Good. Yeah.
I'm feeling oozy.
Feeling oozy. Oh my
Okay, yeah. Cut it out. Cut the camera.
God. Well, we're going to dissect the action that we got and talk about it. But, as commentators, even though we are new to this and this is still a very, early podcast, we do want to take time, not only because of our faith and beliefs, but because of what we aim to do by sharing our unsolicited and unbiased opinions and beliefs on the small world that is professional wrestling. We want to acknowledge the life that was Charlie Kirk's, who many of you know by now was taken from him this past week when he was delivering to the university campus in Utah. Unfortunately, he was fatally shot during that presentation, and I think all of us on this podcast felt that loss dearly, as many, many, many people did across our nation. And Charlie Kirk did what we should all be inspired to do. He stood up for his beliefs. He discussed his beliefs. He was okay with disagreement, but he went and he educated more than anything else. And as podcasters, as people who deliver our unbiased opinions, we feel that loss because that's kind of what we do. We share our beliefs. We share our opinions on a product that we care about. And so that one hits home, not only personally, but also what you could consider professionally. So we give our condolences, our prayers, all of the support we, possibly can from this distance and this angle to Charlie Kirk and his family. Thank you, Charlie, for the impact you had, not only on us, but on our nation and many people all over the world. All right. With that being said, we are going to kick off the hard camera. And I'm sitting here just kind of thinking about it all, and I'm wondering at this point how Nikki Bella is still collecting a check from WWE. And I we did witness history this past week. There wasn't a lot of action on SmackDown, but I kind of do want to just start off with what the main attraction was. Let's talk about John Cena's last appearance ever on Friday Night SmackDown. John Cena would face off. Oh my gosh. I'm already losing steam because I hate this so much.
Jordan, if
Yeah.
if you don't say his name, maybe he won't appear. I thought about that.
Okay, so I don't think that's going to
Not
happen
be named.
based on current events that we had to live through. But John Cena came out and he addressed the Chicago crowd, and he got something he's never gotten from Chicago. He got cheered. Okay, good on you, John Cena. You got cheered. And then he would tell them that he has no plans for his last appearance. He just wanted to come. He wanted to talk to Chicago. He gave Chicago credit for being the best crowd in wrestling. That's where I want to start. Okay. John Cena says there's a big argument and debate that's been going on for years and years and years in the locker room on which crowd, which city shows up and shows out the best for wrestling. And John Cena would name the Chicago crowd as the top crowd in all of wrestling. And as great as his segment was and his match was with, we're not saying it right. I vehemently disagree. I hate that he gave Chicago the top crowd title. I mean, especially coming off of the European circuit that we just did. What? Those guys were awesome. And then how dare we give Chicago the home, what I would say, home continental crown when places like Canada exist? Oh my gosh. But that's what John Cena said. And I don't know if you guys agree or not, but I don't. I don't
agree. I think it's Paris, obviously.
Paris. Okay. You didn't think Birmingham was loud?
No, they were loud. But I think Paris is just better.
You know, let's talk about the Paris crowd. The Paris crowd, honestly, should receive trademark, copyright, payments for making Jey Uso what he is today, because it was a year ago when they did the yeet as big as they did with the cell phone lights out and things like that. And after that point, Jey Uso skyrocketed. I've always given Paris the credit for putting such a big emphasis on Jey Uso at the time they did. And after that, Jey Uso, I mean, the rest is history. But Paris deserves credit for that. So that's a good take, Adrian.
Yeah, they do deserve credit for that.
But, I mean, at the same point in time, I can't believe we're giving Chicago the crown when Canada exists. Canada is brutal, guys. Canada has always been brutal since the screw job, Montreal screw job. Canada has been an exciting place to take wrestling, and especially Alberta. But I don't know. Okay, Chicago it is. John Cena.
Oh, John Cena said it. I agree.
What else we want to talk about?
I mean, AJ Lee.
AJ Lee.
So we're done to the case.
Well, that'll dictate how this podcast is going to start. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start 5 minutes in with this week's Pop or Flop. And Dominic, since you let us here, go ahead and give me your biggest pop of the week. I think we know what you're going to say.
Biggest pop of the week, hands down, goes to AJ Lee. It's a statistical fact. She accumulated to express to you how big of a pop it is. This is Google search worthy, so if you don't believe me, you can Google it. AJ Lee's return within the first 24 hours accumulated 132 million views, making it the biggest return in the modern era. History.
Nice. So since you're the statistics guy, how does that rack up against some other big moments we've had over the last couple of years?
Brock Lesnar's recent return at SummerSlam this year, after being literally banned from the company and returning, accumulated 75 million in 12 hours to only reach 95 million in 24 hours. So she blew out Brock Lesnar's return by a good 30 to 40 million.
Basically, in the 12-hour spectrum, AJ Lee's return was double what Brock Lesnar's return was.
Exactly.
Is what you're telling me. That's insane.
Exactly. AJ Lee's return is the biggest return we have had. What
about The Rock? Do you have the stats on The Rock's return?
Actually, that's the one return. Season? That's the one return I did not look up, actually. I don't know, because I forgot about that one, to be honest with you. But I looked up CM Punk's in 2023 at Survivor Series in Chicago, and it wasn't even close to that one either. She beat that one, too.
So AJ Lee outperformed her own husband, is what you're telling me.
Pretty much.
That's incredible. All right. Well, obviously, my pop of the week is AJ Lee. And before I expand on it, we'll move over to Jimmy and Adrian. Jimmy, what's your pop?
My pop of the week would be the return of AJ Lee.
It's the
Adrian, what's your pop of the week?
My pop is actually not Adrian Lee.
Okay, we'll hold on. We'll hold on to that then. Adrian's always in his own little corner over there. I don't know what you do at school or what you eat, but it's making you weird.
I like his pop though. His pop is second place.
Ladies and gentlemen, we had the legendary return, 10-year hiatus of AJ Lee, the real life wife of CM Punk. And we went into detail the last couple of weeks talking about Becky Lynch and the things she's been doing as a heel and how she treated CM Punk and how the entire world was begging for an AJ Lee return. And listen, we all said that we would like that too. It is probable, but we know that WWE is known for throwing curveballs our way. And we even went into some alternative options just in case we were about to get that infamous WWE curveball, but WWE came through for us. AJ Lee returned, and she returned in fashion. She still skipped to the ring. She still had her presence. She still had her personality, and she laid the beat down on Becky Lynch in defense of CM Punk. It was a great segment on SmackDown. Great to see. And the wrestling world has been aflame with wrestlers, broadcast, all the people saying all of the things about AJ Lee's return. So welcome back from the hard cam, officially. Welcome back, AJ Lee. We're glad to have you back. And then, just to continue talking about AJ Lee stole the Intercontinental belt from Becky during that confrontation, and she said she wore it all week long, slept in it, bathed in it, even had trouble getting dressed while wearing it. And as a result of that, what we're going to have is a tag team match at WrestlePalooza. We're going to talk about WrestlePalooza. We have a tag team match at WrestlePalooza between CM Punk, AJ Lee, and Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. And I think I am very excited to watch that match and see what AJ can do in the ring. So 3 out of 4 of us, pop of the week goes to AJ Lee, and we can talk about her all we want to throughout the show. But Adrian, give me your abstract, off-the-wall, reprobate opinion.
Okay. It wasn't obviously it wasn't the biggest pop of the week, but it's my pop of the week because
it's not the truth, it's just my truth.
Yeah.
Okay, Adrian.
Yeah. Exactly. And my truth is all that matters. So
of course.
The Usos coming out because Jey Uso came out and it was like, your typical Jey Uso entrance. But then when Jimmy showed up at the bottom of the bottom of the first staircase and started eating with him all the way down, he got a huge pop.
Yeah, he did.
Huge pop.
He did, and I've got several notes on the Jey and Jimmy promo. Dominic's background is the Jey and Jimmy, so maybe we'll let him cover that in more detail. I want to say the reason why that wasn't as big a pop for the people at home, and I watched it live, but then I rewatched it to go and clarify some things I had written down, and they've edited out a lot of audio between the live and what's left on Netflix. If you were watching it live, Joe Tessitore actually ruined it and said, "We're starting off the show with a great reunion." And I'm like, and so Jey comes out and you're like, oh, it's a reunion. So Jimmy's coming out. Well, then when I watched it not live, they took out what Joe Tessitore said. And it says, we're starting off the show. And then it blanks out and it's Jey. And then they don't mention that there's any kind of reunion. And then Jimmy comes out. And I'm like, oh, Joe got censored. And it made it better when you didn't know that, they didn't tell you that Jimmy was coming out. So, great pop though. Whenever we get to talking about the Usos, I have a lot to say in regards to Jimmy. Jimmy was really fantastic this week.
I got a lot to say about my background, which is not the Usos. It's Jey spearing my boy LA Knight.
That happened. That's
the best thing this week.
So equivocally, real quick, this is what we're dealing with when we get to Jey. He's got a super kick to CM Punk that he's got to answer for. And now he's got a spear that he's got to answer for to LA Knight. Keep that in check, but we'll talk about it. Well, all right, there you have it. 3 or 4 of us, we give our pops to the returning AJ Lee, statistically. And then one of us lives in a fairy tale and thinks it belongs to the Usos. But, okay, no, good take. Jimmy did get a really good response when he showed up on Raw. Well, the opposite side of pop is flop, and now we got to discuss our flops of the week. So, Adrian, let's just get yours out of the way. Of course, wait. If you have one this week, I'll be surprised because most weeks it's like, I don't have a flop. I love WWE. WWE and Triple H is my daddy. I love them.
Daddy H.
Oh my God, Daddy H. Let me hear it. Let me hear your flop.
Floppity flop, 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 flop.
Oh no.
Should be everybody's flop. Sami Zayn.
You said his name.
He's gonna appear.
I bet you he's gonna cover the whole screen when you edit this.
He is. He is. And not just the typical 4 seconds. 5 seconds.
Ooh, Sammy. You're gonna make him Sammy Hagar if you keep it up.
No, I am really surprised to hear that Sammy made it to a flop. Normally he's overrated, but I'm interested to hear this take. Adrian, tell me why Sami Zayn's your floppity flop flop.
John Cena's on SmackDown. And SmackDown's roster isn't the best, but it's good enough for John Cena's retirement tour. And so, I kind of get why they did Sami Zayn, but I think there was better options. That's my flop.
So Sami Zayn being John Cena's final SmackDown opponent was your flop, or just Sami Zayn in general?
Both.
Okay. All right.
Sami sucks.
That right there is going on TikTok. That one line. Sami sucks.
I'm literally going to get a Sami Zayn shirt and wear it just to rage bait y'all for the entire podcast.
Yeah,
you know what? I might go on.
One day.
What?
I said, Dom's going to find it in a pot of boiling water one day.
I might go on one of these custom t-shirts and get one that says Sami sucks and then put the Elmo Zammy that I made on it.
It's put the hard camera logo on the back like the wrestling
Heck
shirt.
yeah. I'll send it to y'all. I'll get your sizes.
Don't get mine because I'm be wearing mine. Sami Zayn is good shirt.
So we got quadruple X and then double X and then XL.
I can wear it one time and then wipe my butt with it.
Well, there you have it, folks. Some hard commentary from a 12-year-old. It's getting real over here on the hard cam.
I'm not 12.
Oh, I remember when Adrian was just a little squabbling child, and it took him 6 months to walk up to me, and when he did, I scared him so bad he crapped himself. That was a great moment in time. Dad was so conflicted. He was like, "Why did you do that?" But at the same point in time, he was laughing so hard.
It's one of the best times to tell somebody about our feelings, guys.
I know. They need to learn more about us when they watch the show. Adrian was scared of me for the first year of his life, and about, I don't know how it was, probably at 9 months, 10 months old, he was barely walking. He finally made his way over to me. He crept around this long couch they had, came up to the side of me, and he looked so happy that he had come to me, and he was wanting my attention for the first time ever, and I looked right at him and went, "Ah!" And he fell down crying.
We
panicked
so bad.
We got some great wrestling moments in this family. Dominic's first clothesline from hell.
Oh, who did he get that from? You?
Yeah, from Dad. But I also AA'd Haley onto the couch in your house one time, Jordan.
You know, I recall.
I did. I tried to spear Dad one time and literally almost broke my neck. That was awful. I remember the pain. And then I will never forget the time when me and Oziah were wrestling. That's our other brother who's not on the podcast. And I slapped him on his back. And I didn't mean to hit him as hard as I did. But I slapped that boy hard. And I felt terrible after that. But he laughed it off. I was like, my gosh, I don't know how he did that. Flat hand right on his back. I'll never forget that. I felt so bad about it. Well, there you have it. A little bit of recap on us. Anyway, flop for Adrian, flippity flop. Sami Zayn in general, all of it, anything that I'm gonna build it. I'm gonna build a Sami Zayn acrostic for Adrian and see how many words you can make with the letters in Sami Zayn.
My God.
Tell him if he wants to stay on the podcast, he has to make 10 words. That'd be miserable. Okay. Jimmy, what you got for flop of the week?
Yeah, I'm going to get accused of rage baiting Dominic, but my flop is the Palooza card. I'm just not a fan. There's no title match. The world champions are not going to be there. Roman Reigns not going to be there. I mean, we know why, but I mean, to be pulling out all the stops. I mean, Brock Lesnar is all right, but even when he came up in F5, everybody, he's not moving real good. I don't know if y'all noticed that, but he's slow. He's hurting. I don't. He's not moving good. I'm kind of worried about this, and I'd rather just see the women fight and the men fight than a mixed tag, because if the man's beat half to death and the woman gets tagged in, you have to make sure the woman's fighting the woman, the man. It takes away from a tag team match because you have to wait for the appropriate sex to get into the ring.
Well, you have the man fighting CM Punk.
Oh, but they're not going to let it happen.
Jimmy wants a one-on-one. He wants that one-on-one again with Seth and CM for the title. He's been saying that.
I really wanted AJ Lee versus Becky for the title, but I'm okay with the mixed tag match. I actually did want the match to be for both the titles.
But we may get that. If AJ Lee did what she did with the title, holding on to it all weekend, talking about it the way they talked about it, we may get this match and then move on over to the Intercontinental title. It may happen. I mean, I don't think they'd put so much focus on the belt if that wasn't part of the plan. But I want that match too.
It definitely is part of the plan. It definitely is part of the plan.
I think so too. Anyway, Jimmy, go ahead about WrestlePalooza.
I'm just not in love with the card. I don't. It should be. There's some good matches on there, but it's not like a flagship card like you would expect for this.
No, but okay. I'm gonna go back to when you said something that there's no world title matches yet, because Triple H said that Cody Rhodes will be at WrestlePalooza.
Well, there is a title match, isn't there? It's Stephanie and Io.
Stephanie and Io are having the women's world title, and Cody is returning on SmackDown this week, and it's going to be Cody, Drew, and Randy for his title.
Or just Cody.
Okay, so that would fix it, son.
I don't like that at all. I want Drew to win the title.
Oh, he might.
If it wasn't at Clash of Paris, I don't think it's going to happen.
If Drew wins the title, as long as he's champion, I'm wearing a kilt in real life. You can bet on it.
No, he doesn't need to win.
No, now he definitely
needs to win, bro. He needs to win hard.
I think, I want him to win that title from Cody, and then Gunther to take it from him in about 6 months.
Yeah, wasn't Gunther supposed to be on Raw?
No.
Didn't Adam Pearce come out and say on Facebook he has confirmed that the ring general will be back, and then he wasn't back? Now, I know we're the hard cam, we focus on in-ring action, but Adam Pearce did say that Gunther was supposed to be back on Raw this week, and he was not there.
I didn't see anything about it, but I mean...
Well, Stephanie Walker was supposed to be there, too.
Yeah, she wasn't there. That. I wonder if there was transportation issues. That happens.
I don't know.
Okay, so we've got a really good take here on flop of the week, and Jimmy says that it's the WrestlePalooza card in general. Now, listen, I had this for an entire section of the podcast tonight, WrestlePalooza, and I've got my own thoughts on it. I'd like to share those, and then we can talk more about it. But I'm totally with you on that. Is there anything else you wanted to say?
No, that's all.
I have WrestlePalooza written as a whole paragraph here. And what I think about WrestlePalooza is the same as you. I think it was thrown together at the last second, because isn't this the one that ESPN is broadcasting.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the official ESPN start. Like from now on, PLEs will be on ESPN.
Yeah, and so not from now on right away, is it? It's
from now
not
on
starting
right away
with WrestlePalooza.
Yes, it is.
Okay. The way I understood that is they were going to move that direction once their contract with Peacock ended, but I didn't think their contract with Peacock was up. Either way, my thoughts is that this is a test for how PLEs will perform on ESPN before they go full scale or full send here and completely pull off of Peacock. And listen, the wrestling world is really upset about this deal with ESPN. It's going to be expensive. It's going to be hard to watch. There's no guarantee that they'll be able to tune in later and rewatch it. There's a lot of things. A lot of people don't have the ESPN app like they have Peacock for other viewing things. And now that they're going to this and they're going to have to restart a lot of the content, because right now you can go back and watch any old PLE on Peacock. You can rewatch it. It's still there in the library. And so there's a lot of questions about this. And, I would never, recommend people to do things that would hurt the industry of wrestling. But I almost wish we could get together and boycott this change, because I don't want WWE to move to ESPN. I think maybe it's a great monetary choice, but it sucks for us as viewers who kind of have the routine set. We're ready to go, ready to move. I mean, back in the day when they made changes, you could just switch the channel from, Spike to Sci-Fi or whatever you needed to do. But now you have to download a whole new app, purchase a subscription and all kinds of stuff. And this kind of sucks. But my thoughts were, I feel like it's really thrown together. And I feel like it's not good compared to what just happened at Clash in Paris. I know all of us were really excited about the Clash in Paris card. Clash in Paris was a really good PLE. And now you've got WrestlePalooza, which they're talking about being one of the biggest PLEs of the year. And I think it just falls short. I know they've still got a week to really kind of prepare and give us, extra matches that could maybe heighten this card. But Jimmy, I think that's a great take, and I'm in agreement with you. I think WrestlePalooza sucks, and it was just thrown together at the last second.
And even the name, just seeing grown men say Palooza, something just ain't right about that.
Yeah, let's go back to your take on Brock Lesnar. When Brock Lesnar said WrestlePalooza, I about fell out of my chair because he looked like a girl.
I cringed when he said that.
What? Yeah, it's cringy.
And you see LA Knight back there at WrestlePalooza? That just no.
That's so good. That's great. I agree. Oh my gosh, I so agree. But all right. Well, we got some flops. We've got WrestlePalooza. We've got no. Dominic, give me your flop of the week, broski.
I'm gonna start off my flop of the week by saying that I'm the only one.
You gotta say floppity flop.
All right. Well, I'll start my floppy flop of the week by saying that I'm the only person on the podcast who has the hype for WrestlePalooza. I'm excited.
No, I'm excited for it.
That's me.
But I'm excited. Like the ESPN.
I know it's going to be a good show. I know it's going to absolutely bang. It's going to be absolutely fire. As much as last minute thrown together as it might seem, it's not going to miss. I promise. I guarantee it, bro. There's no way. He is promising everyone that this is the new big thing comparable to WrestleMania. He's going out on Twitter and saying that.
He said that about
He doesn't just say that.
Yes,
he did not say that about Raw and SmackDown.
Listen, in my eyes, it will always be WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, Survivor Series.
WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble for Survivor.
He said that he's making WrestlePalooza good enough to make people beg for it every year. So
I don't even want it this year.
I want it every year. I'm sorry.
Someone's been brainwashed, sipping the tea.
But my flop is the women's U.S. title.
Oh, okay. Tell me why the women's U.S. title is your flop. That's wasn't expecting that. Give it to me. Okay. It goes into my overrated. I'm sorry, but really, to be truthful with you, I just don't. It's been bad.
The only time it was good was whenever Chelsea Green had it and she was doing the Statue of Liberty stuff, and that was good character work. But then the second she lost it, they gave it to Zelina. They didn't book Zelina properly at all. They didn't do anything. I mean, they put on a couple good matches with Chelsea and put on a few good ones with Julia. And the same things happened once Julia got it. Julia's had one good match with Zelina, and that's it. And they add this Kiana James thing, and it really hasn't. I mean, it has some potential, and it has some cool things that can make it better. So I'm not going to disqualify it completely, but as of right now, it's a flop. It's just not good to me at all. I could care less for it at all. Every time it pops on the screen, I could turn the screen off and go. That's my time to take a dump in the middle of the show time period, man. The U.S. title is bad. I don't like it.
Well, with as short as those U.S. title matches have been, are you sure you have the time? Because you usually stay in there for a while.
No, I don't. But that's the whole point.
I
actually tag it. I tag it with the women's tag team title too, because those are just as bad to me. I'm sorry, bro.
Boy, what a flop! That's like a big flop, bro.
They're all trash to me. Almost the whole women's division as a whole, pretty much outside of AJ Lee and Becky Lynch, everything is garbage.
What do you call the opposite of a feminist? That's what.
Okay. All right. I would agree with you that right now every women's angle sucks.
Yep. Every single one of them, besides AJ Lee and Becky Lynch.
I would say that right above suckage, because it was so good so recently, but it's a little bit entertaining. Maybe Alexa and Charlotte are still relevant. I still kind of like what's happening there, but they need to move on from Chelsea Green.
Exactly.
But other than that, it's
all buzz.
Maybe that'll change after WrestlePalooza when Stephanie Bacare gets the belt.
I was going to end it. I was going to end my flop with saying that even though I'm giving them a harsh take, it can all change in literally one night.
Oh, they can. They can. They can. The WWE has done worse or better. I like that Tiffany Stratton is still the champion, but you're right. Jade Cargill is underwhelming feud for her. Yeah. Women's tag titles, they're on the right people, but that's kind of starting to phase out. Intercontinental, of course, we said AJ and Becky, that's good. And then the U.S. champion, I don't know. I think it's really too early to render judgment on that, because I really want to see my notes surrounding Michin and Julia and all that is I really want to see who Kiana brings in. She says she has a new person to bring in to whatever she's building, and I am interested in that. But there are a lot of women superstars right now that are being either left out or improperly booked. I miss Zelina Vega. I don't want her to get relegated to AAA only. I want her to be on the main roster. She's phenomenal.
I'm right there with you. Yeah. I do believe there's a lot of women that are not being booked properly, and I also believe there's a lot of women that are being overly booked.
Well, and then of course to supplement that too, to add insult to injury, we only had 3 matches on SmackDown. Only 3. We normally have 5, and I know AJ Lee's return was a big deal, but 3 matches, and we can't book our female superstars. I mean,
I'm just
okay.
They got to start doing some redemption for me to even care remotely about them at all, because they're just not it for me. I'm sorry, but it's just not. I'm not a big fan of the women's division right now at all.
I don't know. Well, okay, we're saying storylines suck, and that's true. Okay, we agree.
Yes.
I don't agree that all of them haven't been booked well, because Raquel and Roxanne have been booked really well.
Yes,
they put on some good shows.
I will give the flowers to the Judgment Day girls, and I've already given the flowers to AJ Lee and them, and once again, my flop is not to say that the women's U.S. title or that the women's division as a whole is just absolute garbage and it just all needs to be completely refixed. It's just to say that right now the storylines are not interesting. They're just not. They need to be redeemed. Other
than AJ Lee and Lyra, we need some good insertion on storytelling for the women.
Yeah.
Okay. I can agree with that take. I think there's some gray area in that overall. But I think I can agree. So your flop. I'm Dominic, I'm gonna let you tear this one up once I introduce it. But My flop of the week, which of course plays into what you just said, Nikki Bella and Asuka. That entire match flopped about 6 different times. Flop, floppity, flop, 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 flop.
And not in the good ways.
Not great at all. I know that Nikki Bella, I know we've discussed it, like Nikki Bella has been underwhelming. We hate the fact that she's come in and talked about all this. I did this for women's wrestling, and everybody else has to say that to her as well. But dear God, for her to tell Asuka on Monday Night Raw that you don't have to like me, but you do have to respect me. What? Who does Nikki think she is in today's age of women's wrestling? One, she's incredibly slow. She has not given a good performance. She's unbelievable. She overacts. And then she gets into a match with Asuka on Raw, and Asuka couldn't even give a good match because she had to slow way down to meet the pace of Nikki Bella. It was an awful match, and I've never seen Asuka perform badly. And Asuka didn't really perform bad, but she couldn't do what she normally does because Nikki couldn't keep up. So my flop of the week, oh my gosh, I hate to put Asuka in this category, but she's guilty by association. The match between Nikki and Asuka was a waste of time. I hated it. And now, oh my gosh, on Raw after the match, Rhea Ripley came to the aid of Nikki Bella, and I swear the last thing I want is a tag match or a team up with Rhea and Nikki Bella on top of what we've already had to endure, but it looks like we're going to have to get that. So, yeah, there we go. My pop of the week goes to that match in general. I thought it was dumb. I thought it wasn't good, and I hate seeing Asuka put in situations where she can't perform. So, yeah, there you have it. Pops or flops delivered from the hard camera. Well, we've covered WrestlePalooza, which is something I wanted to spend time on, so we can skip that whole section that I had set up. Anyway, I think we were going to start with John Cena. I think I said something about starting with John Cena, and then we started talking more about Sami. Yeah, that guy. So let's go back to John Cena. We saw history this week. John Cena had his last regular performance ever of his life on SmackDown. And John Cena would come out and he would tell the crowd, he said, listen, I'm giving Chicago their flowers for being the best crowd. This is my last appearance. And he would come out and he'd say, listen, I have nothing planned for the night. We were in Chicago. I wanted to be here. I wanted to address the Chicago crowd because y'all have made my life interesting throughout my career. I've got nothing for you other than just to come and give thank you and you know, pay my respects to the Chicago crowd. Of course, then he was interrupted by the say his name and oh God. You know what? Adrian's already ruined it. So for commentary purposes, he was interrupted by Sami Zayn, and guess who almost got booed out of the building? Sami. Chicago did not want to see Sami. Sami came out and got booed. Now, he was bad. So Sami comes out and just to interject himself. I mean, I don't think anybody in WWE can have a storyline without Sami being involved somehow. He is the definition of brown nosing. Literally. It's awful. So Sami comes in, he talks to John, he says, hey, even though it's your last time on SmackDown, I wanted to come out and interject my 2 cents on your last appearance. Of course you did, Sami. Of course you did. But he does say something that was a little bit interesting. He says that he wants to do what John did for him for other new and emerging talent. He wants to host the Sami Zayn U.S. Open Challenge with John's permission. And of course, John does give his permission. Sami Zayn debuted his WWE career by coming out and fighting against John Cena in John Cena's U.S. Championship Open Challenge. John Cena gave his okay, and then Sami said, I'd like to start the challenge with a match between you and me. And as much as I can't stand Sami Zayn, I will give credit to them for having a really good match. It was really good, and this is why it was good, because both of them did things to pay tribute to other superstars. John Cena performed finishers from various other superstars throughout the match. It was more cinematic than it was real competition. But if that was going to be John Cena's last SmackDown match, if I could take Sami out of it and put anyone else in, I would. But what John Cena did throughout the match and how Sami allowed it to happen and they played it out, I thought it was pretty good storytelling and a decent farewell match for John Cena. I just hate the fact that it was Sami Zayn. I don't think Sami Zayn deserves to be a part of this farewell tour when there's other superstars that do and who we prefer to see. But that does bring me to our next segment, and that is promo of the week. And promo of the week, I give it to John Cena. John Cena absolutely deserves promo of the week. He was well received by Chicago for the first time in his career. He was heartfelt. He was sentimental. He did a continuance to his legacy by offering that U.S. Open championship to Sami, even though it's Sami. And then he went out. He didn't go out, by just doing a fly-by-night appearance. He gave us another match, and he gave us a good match. But everything he said leading up to the match was gold. Promo of the week, John Cena. That's mine. Let me hear your promos.
How about that?
Okay. Promo of the week for me is Jimmy and Jey, but not when they were out in the ring. It's when they were backstage.
Oh, okay. I think I know where this is going. Tell me why it's promo of the week.
It is promo of the week because Jimmy comes up to Jey backstage and he's like, "Where you going?" And Jay's like, "I'm leaving, bro. I'm out." And Jimmy's all like, we got the play to run, man. We got the play." And he's like, what are you talking about play? He tells him about LA Knight, Bronson Reed. He's like, I ain't got no business dealing with LA Knight and Bronson Reed. We deal with that. We ain't making it to WrestlePalooza. And he's like, what are you talking about, man? The vision is our problem. He's like, and then he's like, listen, man, I'm not here to help LA Knight. Our only thing that matters is making sure they acknowledge us. And if they don't, we're going to smash them all. And when he says that, Jimmy looks at Jey and goes, "You don't really sound like yourself. You kind of sound like Roman."
Mm-hmm.
Jey says, "Maybe sounding like myself ain't working no more."
Mm-hmm.
And walks off. Because he is that dude. And then follows it up with the action and spears my boy. Because my boy deserved it.
No, he didn't deserve it. Oh,
Jey,
my God.
Everything that Jey does is right. He can never do wrong. Jey is the man. I'm a fanboy. Jey Uso. Whole letters. One word. Jey.
Listen, I'm going to stop calling you Dom and start calling you Sub because Jay's your daddy.
Best believe it.
Weirdo. Good
that is
God.
That is my all-time favorite. Going all the way back to the beginning of wrestling.
I can have Dominic back me up on this. I did call it that eventually Jimmy will become the face, Jey will become the heel, and Jimmy will be right all along. Because whenever Jimmy first F'd Jey out of the Tribal Combat match, it was the reason was that he feared that Jey would become like Roman, and now Jey's becoming like Roman. So Jimmy was always right.
Bro.
Ain't
nothing wrong. As long as the Yeet Man is doing it.
Okay, yeah. End the podcast.
Yeah, we're done. Have a good night, everybody. We got to get away from this demented and possibly contagious mindset here. Good Lord, I'm losing brain cells the more I listen to you talk. No, okay. On a real note, we did have some interesting developments, and because I think the action was a little limited on shows, we're kind of bleeding across categories. But Dominic says his promo of the week was when Jimmy called out Jey and told him he was acting like Roman. And if you heard the crowd noise, the crowd also took that in. Now, this brings me to several things regarding the Usos. The Usos did come back this week as a united tag team. We've already discussed that a little bit. They actually came out to the ring together, cut a promo together. I have notes where I was saying Jimmy gives a much better promo than Jey does. He was great on the mic. They had great chemistry together during that promo, too. This isn't the one Dominic's talking about, but this was at the beginning of the show. And I particularly liked it when Jimmy was going through naming all the names of Paul Heyman. And he said, the wise man, AAKA, the advocate, AKA. And he meant to say Oracle, but he accidentally said Orca, which, of course, we all know is a whale. And it cracked Jey up a little bit. And Jey said, he's built like one.
AKA.
And so I thought that was really funny, and they played on that well. They didn't lose their steam, they didn't lose their momentum there. So that was really cool to see the Usos in that capacity.
Yes, it was.
But it didn't take long, Dominic. It didn't take long for your boys to be acting like the Street Profits.
Yes, sir.
I mean, honestly, we might as well just call the Usos the version 2.0 of the Street Profits, because they had some frustrations building between the both of them on their debut episode. So, I mean, how you feeling about the heat between the Usos?
I love it.
It's there.
I love it. I love it. It's my book. My booking couch has it written all over it, brother.
Okay. All right. Well, promo of the week. There you have it. I guess we're going to talk about it more in detail later, which is fine because I've got tons of notes on that. All right, so we've gone over 2 promos. We've got John Cena. We've got Jey or Jimmy Uso, whoever you want to credit that to. Adrian wants to go last, so Jimmy, promo of the week, sir.
So's in Brawns. I thought the Brawns held their own in that little exchange too, and I'm loving Bronson Reed. You're gonna acknowledge your tribal thief.
He said, that's all I want from you, family. Now, the only thing I had noted about that promo was that Braun Breaker looked like he had a little bit of a special need whenever he got a little angry and had his little temper tantrum with his finger all down to the side and freaking out. I don't know if he forgot his promo or what, but when he got to a point of no, he just kind of had a little meltdown out there, and that was a little embarrassing. But the rest of it was good. And the cool thing is, you know, as heel as they're making Braun, and honestly as adverse to his original character as he is, when he does mention the dogs, he gets a lot of people going, hoo, 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 hoo. And that's still cool to see. So yeah, tell me more about that, Jimmy. They held their own.
I mean, you're starting to see them develop an identity, and that's good. They're starting to flow together, which I hate they're probably going to break them up pretty soon, but I'm liking them. I'm liking the whole Vision thing all the way around.
See, I don't think the Vision is going to go anywhere. I think they still have gold to win. They haven't won the gold, and I think the Vision is one of those teams where they will win the gold before it's over with. So I think we're going to have the Vision for a while, and I like that. I do like it. But I could be wrong.
I'm a little half and half. I feel like sometimes I feel like it can be splitting up. I feel like it could be splitting up at any given moment. But then also a lot of times I feel like it's going to get splitting up at WrestleMania, this one coming up. But then I also could see it going on another year or two. So it's one of those things that I really don't know for sure yet.
You know, but it could also be one of those things where they're not always together all the time. You know, on this Raw,
I mean,
Seth never crossed paths with the Brawns, and that was okay.
Yeah,
Seth hasn't crossed paths with the Brawns, honestly, since almost since SummerSlam. Like the Brawns and Seth have not really had any just like together time. Even during the build of Clash in Paris, they weren't together. The Brawns were dealing with Roman and like a little bit of Jey, but that's it. Like they weren't really doing anything for Seth.
I still think there was run-ins. Like with the LA Knight and CM Punk stuff, Seth was always there because you had 3 guys. You had Jey, CM, and Seth. Seth Rollins was always involved with that. There was never a time where
they had that locker room. They had that locker room thing where Seth said he was going home. They had that happened too. Only one I think is going to leave is Heyman. I think Heyman's going to Brock, and they're going to get a new wise man. And I really like to see it be Karrion Kross. I think that would be awesome.
We want Karrion Kross. Everybody wants Karrion Kross. Everybody wants Karrion Kross. Okay. I could go forever on Karrion Kross. Okay. Well, promo of the week. Good job to the Bronze. Adrian, since you wanted to go last, you've got to have something that just blows us out of the water here. I'm expecting some real intelligence.
I only wanted to go last to see if somebody would say the one I was going to say. Somebody did. So I'm going to do AJ Lee on Raw because I think it was funny. It was super funny.
I mean, I've never heard a WWE crowd chant therapy in my life.
That was hilarious, bro. That was so hilarious. It was in that moment when all that was going down that I realized how much I used to love AJ Lee back then, bro. She is absolute wild. Like, she's one of the most raw and true to self characters ever. Like, I feel like everything we see from AJ Lee is her at her house on an average Wednesday afternoon. Like,
I want to point out some things though. I have it in my notes to say that AJ Lee kind of gives off the personality that she plays Dungeons and Dragons, which is cool. It's cool. I play Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, I think she kind of fits in with the gamer geeks and things like that, which is really fun just by the way she acts. But I got to say something here, and this isn't directed at AJ Lee as much as it is to a wide, group of people. There's a lot of celebrities that get on stage and get on their platform and they preach mental health to people that really struggle with mental health. But the difference between celebrities and a lot of the people that struggle with mental health is that investing in your mental health costs money. And a lot of the people have bad mental health because they can't afford to invest in their mental health. So I think it's a little almost degrading in a sense to preach at people about chasing mental health, but then at the same time being completely oblivious to the fact that a lot of people can't fix their mental health because they can't afford to. And if we're going to be serious and passionate about mental health, we need to make mental health more affordable. And that's just my take on that. I did like that she advocated for mental health. Obviously mental health is important. But at the same point in time, I mean, okay, tell people they should fix their mental health and then leave them in an impossible situation where they can't, and they know they can't. And then because they know they can't, it's even worse mental health because then they feel even more helpless because they're aware of the issue but can't fix the issue in an even greater capacity. So it's kind of a oxymoron, redundant thing to preach mental health and then not help people achieve mental health. Does that make sense? I mean, I'm not trying to beat on it. No, and I also think, and this is probably on that. This is probably a take that'll get me in trouble, but I also feel like mental health and the discussion surrounding mental health in general is an overly victimized statement in America. I think if mental health is your biggest concern in life, then to an extent you are spoiled, because there are a lot of countries where people don't even have time to worry about mental health. They've got to worry about feeding their family day in and day out. And I think if mental health can be a number one issue in our country, then we're actually pretty blessed because we're not having to worry about getting up and our family not starving every day at a time. So I have some positioning on that, but who am I, right? I'm just the host of a hard cam podcast that's just now making it off the ground. So who knows? But I mean, that's my take on that.
I agree with your take though.
But the crowd did chant therapy. AJ Lee was true to herself. Looks like she hasn't missed a beat. She's also in great shape. Wow.
Yeah.
AJ Lee looks great. And then, man, coming out on your first Raw and going face-to-face confrontation with Seth Rollins and making Seth Rollins cry like a little baby. Burn it down, Adrian. That's your boy. Your boy got shut down by a girl this past week. Granted, that girl was AJ Lee. But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Promo of the week, AJ Lee. I like that. And we've already discussed a little bit. We do think AJ Lee possibly will take on more opportunities for the Intercontinental title, which we would love to see that belt around her waist officially. Looked good on her this past week. So cool. Really good stuff. Something I want to rant about really quickly is Damian Priest and Aleister Black. Oh my God. I never thought that I would be so unhappy with something Damian Priest is doing. But what's the deal here? Is this the best WWE has for Damian Priest and Aleister Black? That Damian Priest literally has to bonk his head against the ring post at the beginning of the match in order to sell a match to Aleister where he's at half motor and dizzy and falling down when he throws his own punches. That's what we got on SmackDown as one of the 3 matches they gave us. I'm not happy with this feud at all. I'm not.
I'm not either. At first, I really thought there was gonna be some excitement behind it because Damien's just like, that really hardcore, just like guy. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about. What Damien brings to the table, and then Aleister being who he is, I kind of thought there was a lot of potential there, and it could have been in my flop, honestly, because it's flopped. So yeah, I agree with you on that take. I don't think it's not living to the potential it could have had for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Just wanted to rant about it before we move on. Had to. I love Damien. I don't like what's happening here. Okay.
Damien too, bro.
Let's go to the fun one. I love discussing this with you guys. This week in botch. Oh boy. Let me talk to you guys about how botches should be delivered on premium broadcasts. Are you ready? Lyra Valkyria facing off against Raquel Rodriguez had no less than about 65 and a half botches throughout the entire
65
match.
And a half. Holy crap.
I counted them. I ran out of fingers multiple times. But let me tell you something. Normally, we crack down on these people. We talk pretty heavily on them or we laugh at them a lot. Lyra and Raquel still delivered one of the best matches of the week, despite them missing so many spots. And you could tell that Lyra was aware that they were missing these spots because at one point when Lyra missed one, she got visibly frustrated in the ring, started beating on the ring mat, screaming. And honestly, despite the botches, the crowd was all in on this match. Mm-hmm. It was a really good match, and Raquel beat her. Cool, fine with that, because Raquel has been delivering great matches week over week. And so this week in botch, I hate to give it to 2 people I like, Raquel and Lyra. Y'all had about, again, a baker's dozen of them throughout your match, but you kept going. You pulled it off well. You acted like it was part of your performance. And so actually this week in botch, I'm giving a gold star to the botch. Good job. Not good job on execution, but good job on performance. So that's my botch. Lyra and Raquel, but in a good way.
Yeah. I think
what you guys got?
I think my botch, the only one I can think of, I'm sorry, I'm trying to give me a second, was Nikki Bella and Asuka. To me, was, I don't know if it was botches on like mistake of moves or what, but the match just looked so bad that I'm just gonna call it a botch in general.
I'm just gonna start calling Nikki Botch. She's a botch stain on the entire corporation that is WWE right now.
I mean, how do you make Asuka not look like a good fighter?
She did. She made Asuka look tame. I wouldn't say Asuka looked bad, but
that's why, in a way, I'm happy that Io and Nikki are like half, like, quote unquote friends. Because if Nikki gets in the ring and messes with my girl Io's fighting abilities, I'm gonna be pissed. Asuka, I can live with. Io, I'm gonna be pissed. Because Io is
she'll have a carry roster the next time they fight. Like we said, we're gonna get a Rhea and Nikki versus Damage Control. The Kabuki
Honestly,
Warriors.
at this point, if they're gonna keep Nikki around like they're doing, then the best thing to do would be to keep putting her in tag team matches because girl can't really hold her own on anything right now.
It's not been great. Okay. Good point. All right. Who have we not covered on this one? Jimmy?
My botch of the week goes to WWE in general. How do you advertise and promote a contract signing and can't even get one of the people to the broadcast. Stephanie Walker not being at her own contract signing. That's a botch of the week for me.
For her first title match. Her first real title opportunity, and she misses the contract signing. Hopefully she's okay. Hopefully she's okay.
Well, she is okay. She was literally on NXT the very next day.
Yeah.
Solidifying a match for NXT Homecoming.
Oh, I missed NXT, so I didn't know that. But yeah. Okay.
She's fine.
Pretty poor. I'm still upset. Let's talk about. Like I said, I'm upset that Gunther wasn't in action. I was told he was coming back. I saw Adam Pearce's video. Liar. Anyway, okay.
Honestly, I don't. If he was to come back, I'd be very conflicted as to where the heck he would have inserted himself at. I mean, just being honest, that's probably why he probably made a mistake saying it. Tell you the truth, because honestly, let's be real. If we honestly want to be real, it's not Gunther's fault. I'm not saying it has anything to do with Gunther. I'm just saying with the picture of Raw right now, you threw Gunther back on Raw. What does he do?
I mean, I don't know what.
He needs to go to SmackDown.
He could go to SmackDown.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying.
No, I want him to fight Cody.
Well, that's SmackDown. So
yeah,
I'd rather him go over to SmackDown too, just because of the fact that if he goes on Raw, there's literally nothing for him to be in.
Actually, I want to see him fight Drew. I want Drew to beat Cody.
I don't know. I'm just saying. So if he was supposed to return this week, it is weird on their part to announce that, especially considering there's literally nowhere for him to just get thrown into. So that's all I'm saying.
Adrian,
you don't want
what's
the ring
yours?
general to come back and have nothing, you know?
Or
be thrown into something bad.
Let's talk about it on the booking couch. That's a whole conversation. Adrian, what you got?
Hold up. I don't have any.
I mean, with 8 total matches, there wasn't a lot of opportunity for botches. We didn't have a Dragon Lee match, so we can't really cap on him.
We had Dragon Lee interference, and surprisingly, he didn't botch that.
Yeah, okay. All right. Adrian, if you don't have a botch, we need to talk about the rest, something else then. You don't have a botch? How about Oh my gosh. I'm about to get triggered by a few things that don't make sense to me. Okay. You don't have a botch? You didn't see any? Nothing that just screams botch to you, like eh. You don't want to mention that Rey Mysterio still isn't on TV? That's your boy.
No, I have a prediction for that. I'm holding it for the booking couch.
Okay.
Booking couch gonna be long.
Probably. What is going on?
What is going on
with El Grandes?
With El Pino.
El Pino. El Europino. Okay, so let's recap this again because I need some help, and I literally want people to chime in and tell me what's going on. We have Chad Gable as El Grande. Chad Gable's real life injured. Ludwig von Kaiser steps in as the new prime El Grande. He's doing okay. Okay, cool. But why is it Ludwig Kaiser? Okay. Question number 1. Question number 2, but El Grande number 3, we know is Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne appeared in this match against AJ Styles, and he stayed the whole match, helped out. Okay. So we've got Chad Gable. We've got Ludwig Kaiser. We've got Pete Dunne. But then a month ago, we saw El Grande number 3 for about 6 seconds on regular programming. And we haven't seen him since on any show. So technically we've got 4. This is 4. I can't figure out my hand. 4 El Grandes. And we have no idea why or what's going on. And the best they gave us on Raw is when the Judgment Day got a little upset with Dominic Mysterio and said, you've been spending more time with them. You're not keeping us in the loop of this. And Dominic says, yeah, it's a luchador thing, which is a whole nother conversation. But we don't know why or how this is happening. And it's been how many months now? 3 months since we got El Grande? Where's American Made even at? They haven't been on TV in almost a month. What is happening? What is happening? Listen, I'll say this. As much as I love the Vision, if the Vision is going to take up so much time of programming that we totally lose storylines from all the mid-carders, what? Why? Like, when are we getting Otis back? You know what I mean? Like, we want Otis back. People have a match, like you say, you know, Natalya and the Dungeon Dolls, they were talking that up. They have one match apiece with Becky, and then they're gone. What? But we're keeping up with the Vision every week. There's more to it, right? Am I the only one that feels this way? I'm on and on.
No, you're not. I feel the exact same way.
But
you got the War Raiders.
We can go to overrated, underrated with that.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see the War Raiders again, probably for another month. They gave a pat on the back to Penta and said, we'll team up with you anytime. And now we're on to Penta and Rusev. Okay, cool. Maybe. I don't know. But
not cool.
The War Raiders are awesome. Like, I don't know, man. And there shouldn't be time constraints on the episodes now that we're on Netflix, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they can go as long as they want to. They're not up against any other programming. So just a small rant there that led us into that. So about the AJ Styles and El Grande match, though, it was actually pretty good. The finisher between the pin combinations there at the end that led to a Styles clash was a pretty good finish. So again, we had AJ Styles beat El Grande Europeano on Raw to start things off, and it was okay. Speaking of AJ Styles, I still, even though I like Dominic Mysterio, that man deserves a belt before his time runs out, and he's a ticking time bomb in his age. WWE, if you're listening, just do it. Just do it for us, and then have El Grande take it off of him. I don't care, but he needs another belt. All right, let's move on. Underrated, overrated. We'll go there before I upset the entire podcast with my heel of the week. Underrated, overrated, where we give our opinions on who we like the most and who we absolutely can't stand in opposition to how many other people feel. I'll turn it over to Adrian because he mentioned it. I'll let you start with either overrated or underrated and give me a reason why. Take it away.
My underrated is Alpha Academy. Well, we already went through those reasons, obviously. And they're not even getting screen time anymore. Which is not fair because they just had screen time and IC title match. And Otis is randomly back on AAA, and now he's not even on WWE.
Make it worse, he's getting dark matches too.
Is he getting dark matches?
Yes, he is.
I was really hoping we'd have that Rusev Otis match, you know?
I know, dude. I was really wanting Rusev to come back in this different, not necessarily different, but just a new, like, you know, just a little polishing on his character to where he came back and he was just more like, you know, point blank and just came out and beat the crap out of Rusev. I mean, demolish him. You know, just be an assertive type of guy. Still be funny, still be cool, still be, you know, rip the shirt, be funny, but beat the living crap out of Rusev in the process.
Well, we've seen that Otis can do it because he's doing some fun things on AAA. He is.
Right.
I don't like the gay luchador angle, but we already discussed that. I think there's absolutely potential for him to actually feud against Rusev and it be good.
Yeah.
But no, we're getting Rusev and Penta, and I love Penta. I did not know that Penta was the same height as Rusev. That was interesting to see when they went face to face this week. That was
very weird.
I was like, whoa, I thought Penta was a little guy. He's not. But yeah, no, okay. I'm with you there. Yeah. Alpha Academy, I don't really care for Tozawa. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't see where Tozawa brings much. I don't see where he brings much to the group. But Otis is a powerhouse, and Maxine is a diamond.
Tozawa plays the role of the guy. Tozawa is that guy that he kind of, you know what Tozawa reminds me of, Jordan, in a way, especially if they booked him properly. He could be the modern day's version of Hornswoggle, minus the midgetness of it. I'm serious. That's exactly who he gives me the vibe of. He literally reminds me of Hornswoggle so much. He literally, it's not even in a bad way. Hornswoggle was the freaking bomb. If you hate Hornswoggle, you're just a hater. Like, that's all there is to it. Hornswoggle was awesome. Okay? There's nothing more entertaining. There's nothing more entertaining as a kid than to see the midget Hornswoggle throw Big Show with his legs. Like, no, okay? That's no, like dude, no. And that's what Tozawa is. Tozawa's that guy that's nothing. He's a piece of human garbage until one day he has a match with Gunther off the cuff for no reason and like hangs with him the entire time. And it was awesome.
God. This is going on TikTok.
It's just a real take.
Now, I got to tell you, I do agree more with Jimmy, though. I think Spike Dudley makes more sense, the comedic group. But, okay, let's be honest. We're kind of in booking couch on accident here. Whatever. We're not going there all the way. Alpha Academy needs a leader. And, okay, you know who they need? You know who they need? Yes, Sheamus would make the most logical sense, but do you know who they need?
I know who you're going to say.
Who?
They need the Ring General, Gunther.
Could you imagine Gunther leading Alpha Academy? Dude, that'd be hilarious.
That'd be epic, because he would have Natalya. Gunther and Natalya would be a force.
Dad's
hating CM Punk. Put him on notice.
Dad's hating it because Gunther only belongs holding world titles for 20 years, never losing in Dad's eyes.
Okay, could you imagine Gunther as the champion and Natalya as the women's champion, and then just if Maxine ever gets a belt, I'm going to lose it.
I just want to see the Imperium that we all been wanting. Ludwig von Kaiser, Ilya Dragunov, and Lyra Valkyria.
Oh, okay.
That's the Imperium I want.
You win. You win. Oh, all right.
And maybe throw Sheamus in there. You can throw Sheamus in there too.
I have booked that Imperium team a lot of times, and I've always thought there was a lot of potential for Gunther to make up a really dope version of Imperium.
Maybe Gunther comes back and just trashes Raw and starts doing it. He could start with Lyra. Lyra could need help with Bayley, and that could be a cool thing. Okay. I don't think we're getting Ludwig anytime soon, though, because he's got a metal plate in his head.
Gosh.
You just run Pete Dunne right on in there.
No, gosh, Pete Dunne can retire. Anyway, we're on underrated. Adrian gave his, opened up a whole can of worms. Jimmy, I know you've got an underrated.
I do. Raquel Rodriguez.
Oh, wow.
She's been underrated. She's winning. She's winning a lot of matches. I'd like to see her get a world title shot, but I really think they need to do something with her gimmick. Make her a little more interesting.
Well, I think that's coming, fellas, and I think we're really close to Liv Morgan returning because we had a segment this week where after Dominic had frustrations with the Judgment Day, he walked off, stormed out, and guess who went to coddle Daddy Dom? Roxanne Perez. And when Roxanne Perez said, maybe let me go and talk to him, you heard the crowd in the background go, ooh. So here it comes. Roxanne and Daddy Dom are going to get caught doing something, whether it's legitimate or not. And Liv Morgan is going to do it. And Raquel Rodriguez is, of course, going to have to make a choice. It's building up to a great Judgment Day fallout. I'm ready for it. It's going to be fine. But yes, I have nothing but good things to say about Raquel. Already said some of those things earlier in the podcast. And listen, that's not far-fetched because 2 years ago, before Raquel had to leave with her sickness that she had, I don't remember what it was. She has symptoms that come up every now and then. She was a main eventer, and she would go up against people like Rhea Ripley and stuff commonly.
She was in Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, she wasn't. That was the last one she was on for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, she could do it. I agree, Jimmy. Good take. Good take. Dominic, give me your underrated.
All right. So my underrated is a little bit like my flop, where it has parentheses next to it saying it can be redeemed easily. But my underrated right now is Jacob Fatu.
He wasn't even on programming.
Exactly. That's the whole point. There's no reason that Jacob Fatu, it's already bad enough that we had to deal with him like getting along with Sami and like being Sami's like partner, aide, whatever you want to call it. And then Jimmy gets moved over to Raw to do something awesome. Sami's over here fighting John Cena. And Jacob's just like, hold up. If any one of the three deserved the improvement, it was Jacob. I'm sorry, but it's a fact. Jacob needs to be on TV. He needs to be doing something every week, all the time. It's Jacob Fatu. There's no reason, and the reason why is because he's the easiest person to bring entertainment to at anyone on the roster. He doesn't have to talk. He became famous without talking.
That's that's true. That's true.
I mean,
just having strokes on main Telegram.
Just having strokes and beating the living hell out of someone, dude. He became famous from his head being smashed on a freaking toolbox and looking at CM Punk like he was crazy. Like, where is that Jacob Fatu at?
Yeah.
I get he was a heel during that time period, but he could still be a dope face and be just as popular, having just as much fun. That, like, I'm sorry, but like, in my opinion, underrated is Jacob Fatu. He doesn't get any respect. You can also go ahead and say that to Penta too. They're both getting trashed on. They're both getting absolutely trashed on.
Now Penta, I like what Penta said to Adam Pearce. He says Penta came to the WWE and everybody loves Penta. He says, but Adam Pearce doesn't love Penta. What's up with that? I love that. I was like, good job, Penta.
I like that too.
Say it like it is.
Now I need Jacob Fatu to go say that to Nick Aldis. I'm sorry, Nick.
Who's the biggest dog in your yard?
Yeah, dude. I mean, seriously. Look, man. I'm gonna be straight up with you. Adrian gets mad at me every time I say this, but okay. Right after WrestleMania, when Jacob Fatu was holding to the U.S. title, Jacob Fatu was going into Backlash, defending it in a Fatal 4-Way match. And the biggest exciting thing about that Fatal 4-Way match was the potential of an encounter between Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu. Now, I'm not saying I want Drew McIntyre to be in the mid-card scene. I get it. Drew McIntyre needs to be in the main event scene, needs to be Undisputed Champion. But I'm also going to sit here and tell you that there's been times. And there's time, hell, we're looking at right now in the women's division. The Intercontinental title basically is the main event scene in the women's division. And so I'm not saying the mid-card title needs to be the main event scene, but the mid-card title can be up right there, right along with it, and be just as good. And if Drew McIntyre doesn't win against Cody, the very next thing I need to see happening is Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre U.S. title feud.
No, stop. You're going about this the wrong way. Drew McIntyre beats Cody, and then Jacob feuds with Drew.
That's fine with me, too. I don't care. I'm just saying that something needs to happen.
Well, but let's do this. You've got Sami as the U.S. title. You got Jimmy on Raw. You got Jacob MIA. And you still got Solo in the MFTs. There's a lot of unfinished business in that whole mix. And again, that brings us to talking about storylines just kind of falling through the cracks and things like that. So we've got some decent and legitimate frustrations with booking as a whole. So... yeah, that just adds to the weight of that argument that we're about to completely open up and unbox here in a minute. All right, underrated. Oddly enough, we've got two underrated superstars that haven't been on TV, and that's why they're underrated. They should be. Interesting. Okay. My underrated of the week, Jimmy Uso.
Oh, I like that.
I didn't realize, I've been saying internally that Jimmy Uso performs better than Jey Uso. I know that's an unpopular opinion, but he does. His matches are better. But then he comes to Raw, and his time on the microphone and behind the camera was also more interesting and better received than Jey Uso's time. His promo at the beginning, he was the life of that. Him calling Jey out and telling him, Jey, you sound like Roman, that got a good response. And then when he came out at the end, also good pop. Jey Uso has done a good job going off on his own and becoming a legitimate champion and a legitimate appeal. But I think Jimmy Uso is very capable of doing the same thing as well, and this may happen if things keep going the way they're going.
Yes.
All right, underrated. Good takes by everybody. Way to remember some people that WWE is trying their best to forget. We won't let you, WWE. We will not let you.
Oh.
That bleeds right on over though to that bleeds right on over though to the overrated portion of this, and I'll do it in reverse. I'll start here and say, of course, overrated Sami Zayn. Boy, we trash on him, literally trash on him. Sami Zayn, reason he's overrated, he in no way deserved to be John Cena's final SmackDown opponent, and we know this, and WWE knows this because in that match, they gave tribute to people who really deserve to be in John Cena's retirement run that will not be. Some of those tributes, which of course we know he can't participate, but we did see John Cena hit the Angle Slam, and that was awesome because John Cena debuted against Kurt Angle. We saw him give the GTS to Sami Zayn, which was awesome. We saw him do a hyped up spear, which is what Edge does. That was good. He gave the Edge spear to Sami. And there were some other less notable ones that he performed, and also Sami performed in their match. But I will tell you right now, WWE knows that they needed to do this because they know that this could have went out in a different way. It would have been so much better just to pull AJ Styles to SmackDown for one night and say, hey, let's do this, bro. Sami Zayn could have had a promo backstage with Cena at any one of Cena's last few appearances where he asked for permission to continue the U.S. Open, and that would have been the end of it. Cool. But instead, he got a whole segment, whole match, and I thought that was poor because it definitely shouldn't have been Sami. So, overrated, Sami. There you have it. I'm off my soapbox. Going in reverse, Dominic, give me your overrated of the week.
I believe that Julia has been overrated by the company itself, not by the fans.
Well, I mean, that's valid. What has she done?
What has she done? Exactly. What really has she done? And like how you think about this one. This is my logic. This is my take on it. This is why I say this. It's okay. They brought the three girls from NXT up to the main roster this year: Roxanne, Stephanie, and Julia. And when they brought those three up to the roster, they were originally all three on Raw at the same time. Then they just randomly brought Julia over to SmackDown. Cool, whatever. I get that. You don't want them all three on the same show, whatever. So then I thought, okay, that gives Julia opportunity to feud with some cool people on SmackDown. It amps up the SmackDown Women's Division. Dope. But then, as I've been watching these girls since they've been on the main roster, to me, the only one that deserves to be holding a title, if we're going to be really technical, to me is Stephanie or freaking Roxanne, because Stephanie is just popular, so there's that. And then Roxanne, she's just a great character. She does great storytelling, great character, great in-ring performer, all of that. What have we seen Julia do? She's put on a good match with Zelina. That's it. She hasn't done anything else.
It's really not normal to become champion and then get a manager. Normally, you get a manager that helps you become champion. So it's kind of weird. But to your point, I'll just say this. I think Roxanne's better than Stephanie at this point. Probably not in reality, but so far, Roxanne outshines Stephanie in my eyes.
I know. In my eyes, I am right there with you, and I agree with you 100%. But I'm just gonna be honest with you. My overrated is Julia, because I just believe out of all the girls, she's not it for me. I believe the better route would have been giving her the manager, make her develop something, make her actually tell a story, then give her a title. But to throw that title on her and then make it seem like she's just really big person and like she's supposed to be like loved, it's just kind of crap. Because I'm sorry, but I could care less to see her pop up on the screen. I care more about her manager than I do her.
Well, right now, yeah, I agree. And to catch everybody up, the main event, really it should have been John Cena and Sami Zayn. But the main event of SmackDown was the U.S. title championship between Julia and Michin. That Michin won with a stupid roll-up on Kiana that was interesting. But it was a decent match, nothing really to remark about. Julia won, and then they beat her up. So that's it. Whatever. There wasn't in the main event match. Of course, it's a title match. There really wasn't. I thought Michin performed better in that match than Julia did. Michin had some good spots where, like one time she was thrown into the ropes and she caught herself and just laid in the ropes and laughed it off. I thought Michin had better personality.
In a way, I was telling Adrian this before the show even started that I wouldn't be mad if Michin won that night.
Yeah, probably. I would have felt that for you too. I would agree too. It wouldn't have been great either way, but Michin could have won, and I'd have been okay. Michin won, yay! Julia win it back, whatever. But okay, I agree. All right, overrated. Moving right back the way we came, Jimmy.
I got Rusev.
That's a good take.
I would like to see a lot more out of him, and I keep thinking about something you said last week. Why did we lose Braun Strowman to get him? I mean, that's insanity.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I want to like Rusev, but I'm not impressed with him.
I agree. I agree because what'd you say, Adrian? I'm sorry, I still couldn't hear him. But anyways, I feel like I agree with Dad on that because if someone would have told me the replacement for Braun Strowman was Rusev and it was going to be booked this way, I would have been no.
Meanwhile, Braun Strowman's still posting all these videos of this infinite vacation he's on, and people love him.
Yeah, Braun Strowman, because see, here's the thing, okay? What Braun Strowman brought to the table that Rusev does not is Braun Strowman, okay, like he was used to make some of these guys that really need it right now, to be honest with you, look the way they need to look. Like, he's the reason that Bronson Reed became this big, huge, like, monster. I mean, Bronson Reed became that from attacking Seth. But then when he went on to feud with Braun Strowman and they were breaking the cars and going through the walls and stuff, I mean, it made you care about Bronson Reed. It made you think he was somewhat, like, awesome. Then the last Monster Standing match with Jacob Fatu and all that stuff like that, Braun Strowman was used to make those kind of big figure guys become big figure dudes.
I got to stop you and disagree. I think Bronson was completely fizzled out in those, and what made Bronson big was when he took Seth Rollins out of action.
Yeah, that's right. He took Seth Rollins out of action and then went to feud with Braun Strowman while Seth Rollins was out of action.
But
Seth Rollins came back and cost him.
I don't think that Bronson added to Braun or Jacob Fatu. I don't think that at all. I think those were just decent feuds there. But
no, Bronson didn't add to Jacob Fatu. I'm saying Braun Strowman added to Bronson, and then Braun Strowman added to Jacob Fatu. I'm saying Braun Strowman added to those guys. He made those guys relevant. That's what I'm saying.
I just think they were good feuds.
He made those guys relevant.
But I don't know if either of them elevated the other. Okay, I mean, obviously your opinion valid, cool. If it worked for you, it worked for you. That's great. I don't think that it necessarily did that much of that. I think the two best things for Bronson Reed has been taking Seth out of action and then being in the Vision and stealing Roman's shoes. And reason I think that was so cool again is because, like you've said, I don't think it was scripted. I think Bronson just did it, and now it's cool.
I agree. I agree that those are the two best things for Bronson. I don't know. I'm just saying that like you can honestly eliminate the Bronson thing. Then I'm just saying but for sure 100%. When that time period during the Road to WrestleMania, whenever Jacob Fatu was fighting Braun Strowman all the time, they were doing they fought a Saturday Night's Main Event, and he did that the dang backflip thing on top of Braun Strowman so many times he started spitting out blood. And they had the last Monster Standing match on SmackDown. Jacob Fatu became even larger than life because of all that kind of stuff. It made him look even cooler. And Braun Strowman made that be the way it was because Braun Strowman sold that stuff so well. And he was just such that big figure. I just miss Braun Strowman. If all that to me lets to say that I'd rather have, if our big figure guy was Braun Strowman or Rusev, I'd pick Braun Strowman every day because Rusev sucks.
Yeah, that's a statement we can all agree with.
Basically, what I'm trying to say with it is we see Rusev trotted out every week and Aleister Black, and you got like Tala Tonga sitting over there on the bench.
Yeah. For real.
You know,
Fact.
there's way more people I'd rather see. Eric Rowan, I'd want to see him. Why don't we trot him out every week? You know?
Yeah.
I'll never understand that. What are they saving him for?
Overrated.
That's what I'm saying. And I think like I even think that like I think a couple of those guys on the MFTs, JC and Tala, both could benefit from actually like being put into something like on TV where they're doing like big brutal matches that make them look like who they really are, because people don't know how actually really good Tala and JC really are unless you just know them, or unless you actually pay attention to the few little tiny things they have gotten, which there's that. But I'm just saying, because Rusev and them, they're getting all this TV time, but like you just said, there's people like Tala and Eric and JC who all three I know for a fact from watching their their careers in general can bring a lot more entertainment to the table than Rusev and Aleister Black both can. So,
Good take. Adrian, overrated.
My overrated is Bronson Reed.
I've been waiting all night for him to say this to y'all.
Bro, he's dragging the Shulafala thing and the Tribal Thief thing, and he doesn't even have the Shulafala.
Yeah, what's he gonna steal next?
Nobody. He's not gonna steal nothing.
I'm gonna remind you of this when he steals your heart and he becomes your favorite wrestler.
Then no one ever.
I'm gonna tell you to acknowledge the Tribal
No
Thief.
one either. All three of us like him. You're the only one who doesn't. So really, it seems like to me, said no one ever who hates him.
He looks like a freaking child. Like,
no
he looks
aura.
Like
no aura? Is that what you
like
just said?
Yeah.
Let me turn my disagree face off. I can't do it. I disagree.
You're tripping on this one, dog.
But you're entitled to your opinion, your truth.
Yeah, your truth, Adrian. Your truth.
Good God.
You and your truth over there having 3 meals a day alone.
What a thing to say. Okay, all right. Well,
you weigh more than Brock Lesnar. I don't hear you.
I mean, no, I don't. Actually, I weigh the exact same as Bronson Reed.
He weighs the same exact as Bronson Reed until it comes time for a Nikki Bella match, and then he goes and takes a deuce, and then he weighs less. For your information.
Exactly. See, Jordan gets the facts.
Oh no. That's sad.
All right, we got one more, and then we can just spill the beans. But let's talk about heels of the week. Heels of the week, I said. And I'm going to wait on mine because, yeah. I'm going to wait. Y'all take it.
Okay. I'm going to go Brock Lesnar.
Whoa. What? Brock?
Yeah.
Is your heel of the week?
Yeah.
He's actually mine too.
I mean, okay, I would agree if he didn't have to say WrestlePalooza, but he did. There went all the aura when he said that, but okay.
He lost some style points for that.
I'm going to acknowledge you here. Tell me why Brock Lesnar is your heel of the week.
Because he threw Sami Zayn. I mean, he F5'd him, but he pretty much threw him like a baby. He tossed him like a baby.
He also did real damage to that referee. Oh my God. Did y'all see where he planted that referee on the floor?
Yeah, he destroyed that referee.
That was a mess. Okay, so because he ruined Sami Zayn's chance, you're defending Sami Zayn?
No, I'm just saying I like because he's a heel, but I'm not going to put him on other categories because he's a heel, so I'm making him my heel of the week because of what he did to the big babyface that everybody loves but I hate. Words.
What an interesting abstract take from Adrian. Okay. All right. Now, Jimmy, give me the expanded on that because he's yours too.
We're trying to entertain people here, so I can't say Becky every week. and I can't say Sami every week so I'm trying to find somebody else to give some heat to. And, he came out pretty BA, and like I said, he took out the referee. He was indiscriminate about who all he took out. He took 2 faces and a referee, and got through saying Palooza like a champ, and just stumbled back off. But he even though he's heel of the week, he still don't look right. He looks like there's something wrong with his leg. Go back and watch it.
Goldberg, they said the same thing about Goldberg, but Goldberg did pretty well.
Yeah.
I think it'll be fine. He's got a couple weeks. Maybe these wrestlers just skip leg day once they retire. Maybe that's what happens.
So they come back and their legs are all gimpy. They're all like
disproportionate. We'll find out when he's in wrestling gear. Okay, heel of the week from Jimmy, Brock Lesnar, and Adrian. All right, Dominic, shoot your shot, man.
My heel of the week.
Yeah.
This is Jey Uso.
Yeah, he went from yeet to cheat this week, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Nothing felt more good than
more
to see
good.
him.
More gooder, guys.
More gooder. Nothing felt more gooder than to see him. Whenever LA Knight, whenever they reached to go pick up Jimmy, and he picked up Jimmy, and he was talking to him. Well, before he picked up Jimmy, he went over to Jey and was like, "Are we good?" And then he walked over, and then he started to pick up Jimmy, and he's talking to Jimmy for a second, and that camera angle the way it was, I'm thinking to myself, no way they're actually doing this. And they did it, sure enough. He speared the crap out of him, and I was so happy. I was like, yes. Like,
no better way to ruin the hottest baby face in the company's run right now than to turn him heel.
I'm going to be honest with you. The reason why I am so just like in love with this whole thing that Jay's doing, number one, Jay's my boy. Number two is because I have been genuinely wanting Jey to get out of being so far right for a while. Because I believe that Jay's peak of his career was not even Royal Rumble or WrestleMania, even though that's where he had his most success. I believe his peak of his career was in the pandemic era where he was a heel and he was dealing with his family and he was being raw and he was true to himself and didn't trust anyone and annihilated anyone who got in the way of anything due to his family or himself. That's peak Jey. That's what makes Jey. That's Jay's career right there. And so when you do this character development and the way they're doing it right now, it's so good to me because honestly, okay, the reason why I also want it is because I'm tired of hearing people talk about how Jey is nothing in the ring. People just don't know.
Well, he hadn't been anything recently. He's been horrible in the ring, but that is what it is. I will say though, my heel of the week was also Jey Uso.
Yeah.
The heel turn nobody saw coming. And, let's just be how diabolical, as Dominic likes to say. The man literally refrained from leaving the arena just to show back up after the end of the main event to pretend like he was going to help LA Knight. But he had it planned the whole time to come out there and give LA Knight a surprise spear. So it's like, okay, that's a little manipulative.
Yes. Love it.
So yeah, the heel turn nobody really expected except Adrian. He does have moments of brilliance. We're gonna get a heel Jey, it looks like, and that's interesting. And he's done two things that surprised me, gave me some shock value when he super kicked Punk. That was cool. And then he gave a surprise spear to CM Punk and then stood over him and said, "Yeah, we're good now." Jimmy Uso does not like this. He does not like it. So interesting reunion for the Usos that, okay, let's see where it goes. Let's see how quickly we can go from yeeting to booing. Because good heels get booed. Are you going to be able to boo your boy Jey?
Hey man, look, whatever kind of heat my boy needs is what he needs. So,
do you think it will compare to John Cena's heel turn?
No.
Depends on how they book it.
That's true. All right, folks, we're going to start wrapping up our show now with what we call the booking couch. And this is where we just give our unsolicited opinions on how we feel about certain things. It's kind of a anything goes segment. I want to recap some things that I had on mind that we kind of covered during the show. WrestlePalooza seems like the biggest farce in wrestling so far. It doesn't have the heat that we're really wanting it to have or feel like it should have for it being the first PLE sponsored by ESPN. And along with that comes the idea that Cena is going to be feuding against Brock, and it really is not packing the weight that the other feuds have had, that John Cena has had on his retirement run. I think it makes sense because Brock was the biggest enemy of John Cena at many points of his career. It makes sense for him to be his final feud, but it just doesn't really pack the same punch that some of these others have packed. And I think that may come from the guess value on who's John Cena going to fight in his retirement. We know it's Brock. We know it's the last one. It feels a little anticlimactic. So bad booking there. Bad booking to me. WrestlePalooza has been booked pretty bad, hyped up pretty bad. Honestly, I feel like we need a little more rest after Clash in Paris. This one's coming up really quick. So the booking surrounding WrestlePalooza and who's on the marquee for that, bad booking. I don't like that. Good booking, in my opinion, on the other hand, is AJ Lee. This will be fun. She's back. Good stuff. I do hope she gets the Intercontinental title. And then, interestingly enough, the other point that I was going to make was about Jey Uso turning heel. Interesting booking here. We'll see if we love Jey or hate Jey by this time or by the end of the year and see where all that goes. So those are the points I wanted to make, but we made a really good one too that I want to just go back to as a whole. We kind of feel like we go from a couple months back to having one of the best PLEs ever, Evolution, and now it feels like there's so many women wrestlers in WWE that really don't have a compass to the direction they're headed next. And that is a problem. I know WWE can fix it. We are big advocates and believers in Triple H's booking ability. But right now, the women's division needs help and focus. And I think we all share that opinion. So I wanted to recap mine real quick. I'm interested to hear what y'all have to say, and let's discuss. Who wants to go first?
Me. You go first. Okay.
Adrian called it.
Okay, so
Nose goes.
as you can see on my background, and for the people that are listening, my background is Ray and Dom. Okay. This tomorrow, well, whenever this comes out, it will be the afternoon. Worlds collide, but this time it's main roster versus
AAA.
AAA. Yeah, I can remember for a second. And in the main event, Dom will rematch for the AAA World Championship against El Hijo del Vikinga. I think I said that right. And I think Del Grandes will interfere, blah, blah, blah. AJ will interfere, and then Jey and Lee will interfere, and blah, blah, blah. But the big one, Ray. But he's going to help Dom win instead of making him lose. Rey Mysterio heel turn. The Mysterios have the IC, the AAA World Championship, and are taking over both companies. Worlds collide.
Okay. I don't know how to feel about that, but it's a very interesting possibility.
Rey Mysterio heel turn would be great, I think.
It would be
I would have rather. Now I'll tell you this: I would rather Dominic go through the entire breakup. I want him to lose Liv Morgan. I want him to lose the Judgment Day. I want him to lose the Grandes and be on an island, and then Ray have to come back and help him against the Judgment Day. That's what I would love to see. But
I agree with you. That's just because I want to see the break. I want to see the Judgment Day fallout thing with Jay. But
we've got time though because Ray's here till WrestleMania.
Right. So, I mean, I like Adrian's thing just because it's a plot twist that no one would definitely wouldn't expect. And Rey Mysterio has pretty much, he's always been this, what he is. So if you see him do a different character, it'd be kind of earth shattering almost. It'd be a different thing. So it'd be cool.
But then again, part of me thinks that Rey Mysterio will wear the belt one more time too. So I don't know. Anyway, what'd you say?
You could put Rey in an El Grande Americano mask to help Dom. That'd be funny.
Oh, talk about mind games. If Dominic thinks an El Grande betrayed him, but it's actually his dad. You're on something there. That'd be fun.
That would be fun. That'd be hilarious.
Everybody thought that third El Grande was Rey, but then everybody thinks that it was Tyler Bates. Could have been Rey.
I'm still not convinced it wasn't Rey because he had on long sleeves.
Yeah, I don't know.
And he was short.
That would be interesting, guys. I like that. I'm interested in that. That'd be cool.
I'm watching it, bro. Real July tomorrow, I believe it's gonna be.
Adrian's logging. I'm gonna have to watch it now to see if Adrian was right.
Watch it. Triple H, pay me.
All right, Jimmy, give me some booking on the couch.
Hey, this is what I want to see. Never happened like all the others I've said, pretty much. But at War Games, I'd like to see a Hell in a Cell and put CM Punk and Seth in there, but put Cody and Gunther in there too, and all in one Hell in a Cell. First pin gets a belt, second pin gets a belt.
How far are we away from Hell in a Cell? Isn't that its own pay-per-view?
No, not anymore. They haven't done it in a while.
Because I'm trying to think, when John Cena initially returned, it was at Royal Rumble, and then he inserted himself in Elimination Chamber. And if Gunther didn't return, I'm trying to think what makes sense for Gunther to return and instantly be on the main card, and that would be him putting himself in Elimination Chamber. But that's still kind of a ways off, so I don't think that's going to happen. Interesting though, that'd be a fun match. I don't know why they just don't do these things sometimes and just give us the best of the best. You're right, it'd be fun. Gunther doesn't like Cody anyway.
I would replace Cena with Jey.
He still got that crown jewel thing stuck in his craw too.
Yeah,
that little roll up.
That was so bad. That was so stupid. Gunther should have won crown jewel. It didn't mean anything. Oh, anything else?
My booking couch. My turn. Okay, so it's not drug out, but it is it's a next couple of months thing. But this is kind of what I can see going. As you know, I've been talking about it all night, so you had to expect this coming. But what I see happening is I see the Usos fighting the Brawns at WrestlePalooza, and I see the Usos getting the win. When the Usos win, Jimmy goes to celebrate, and Jimmy's celebrating. He's about to lift his hand up, and he turns around, and Jey is on top of Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, we want to say, beating the crap out of them. And Jimmy's all like, Jimmy goes over and he's like, "What the heck, Oos? We just won. Why are you doing all that, man? This is what I've been talking about." And then Jey goes all like, Jey's all like, "So you helping them now, Oos? Is that what this is?" And then right when Jimmy gets ready to respond, that's when Braun Breaker spears the crap out of both of them, or just one of them. It doesn't matter. And then they get destroyed by the Brawns. And then the next Monday or the Monday after, doesn't matter because Crown Jewel is only like three weeks after WrestlePalooza. So then the very next time they show up on Monday Night Raw, it'll be Jey and Jimmy coming in the ring. Not necessarily like they'll come out probably together, maybe not, I don't know, but they'll come out and Jimmy will be all, and then Jey will start saying stuff to Jimmy, and right when Jimmy's getting ready to explain himself, Ellie Knight will interrupt, and Ellie Knight will be coming out there to say something to Jey about spearing him, and then when Ellie Knight's saying something to him, Jey starts acting all crazy, and he's like, well, then do something about it then. So the Ellie Knight and Jey feud, and they go to Crown Jewel and they fight. Ellie Knight and Jey fight at Crown Jewel, and then either one of them win. Doesn't really matter. But wherever the result of the match is over, Jey starts trying to beat the crap out of LA Knight, like eliminate him. He puts the chair around his neck, starts trying to take him out. And then Jimmy comes out there. And then when Jimmy comes out there and tries to stop Jey from doing it to LA Knight, Jey gets mad and like pushes Jimmy down to the ground or even super kicks Jimmy. And then the build between Crown Jewel and Survivor Series is Jey and Jimmy going to the Survivor Series against one another. And when Roman returns, Jey goes out there to help Roman out. And he tries to help Roman get up. And Roman looks at Jey and shakes his head with disappointment and walks off. And so Jey crashes out and he's mad. He beats the crap out of Jimmy at Survivor Series. And then in War Games, when the babyfaces are about to win against the Vision, the ref gets beat up or gets pulled out, whatever you want to do, or gets kicked, whatever. And then the babyface looks up and it's Jey, and everyone thinks Jey's joined the Vision, and the Vision's all happy, and then Jey turns around and beats up the Vision, and Jey's just this lonely heel, but it's not. He's not with the faces. He's not with the Vision. He's just focused on him, and that's all that matters. And that's what I think is going to happen. Because he's all about his World Heavyweight Championship. I don't have him join the Vision because he's still all about his World Heavyweight Championship. Because he said it. He said, unless it involves them acknowledging me or me getting my World Heavyweight Championship back, I don't care about it. Or acknowledging us or me getting my World Heavyweight Championship back, then it doesn't matter. So he's still hyper-focused on that title. That's why I don't have him join the Vision. Now, unless they want to pull an old school thing that they haven't done in a while, have him join the Vision to work from the inside out and take the title away. They haven't done that in a while, but that'd be sick if they did that. But that's my booking for the next couple months for Jey.
Okay, I liked where you were going, and then you went off of it. If it leads to a Jey Jimmy feud and Roman comes back and he sides with Jey, then we might finally get Roman versus Jacob Fatu.
Oh, hey, that'd be cool too. There's a lot on the table. There's a lot on the table. This is where I'm going with it though. I'm calling it Survivor Series Jey versus Jimmy.
We need to cover something in this booking couch because it's really getting on my nerves. We'll close the show with this. But guys, when is the WWE draft going to happen?
I don't think that. I think it was supposed to possibly happen this month, but then they decided to add WrestlePalooza, and so with that, there literally is WrestlePalooza, and then 3 weeks later there's Crown Jewel, and then like 2 or 3 weeks later there's a Saturday Night's Main Event on November 1st, and then 3 weeks later there's Survivor Series, and then there's John Cena's retirement match, and then that's it. So the whole year is already booked. They're not going to do it this year.
Well, if we don't, I'm going to end the show with saying this. If we don't get a WWE draft, that's poor booking by WWE. We need it. There's so much good talent, and there's so many people that need refreshing in their storylines.
I agree.
All right. Well, there we go, guys. We have crossed time once again. It's great to talk, though, and get all this out. Man, WrestlePalooza, 2 weeks. Hopefully they can do something to fix that. They can address all this stuff. All in all, though, we still love WWE. We love what they give us. We love that it brings our family together and so many people. So this has been it, episode 8 of The Hard Camera. We will see you guys a week from now with more updates. And, y'all can always reach out to us, too. Send us messages on Facebook, comment on the YouTube videos, comment back on TikTok. And we'd love to bring some of your feedback to the show week over week. Once again, I am Jax. I'm the host of The Hard Cam. I'm here with my brothers, Dominic, Adrian, the patriarch of the family, Jimmy Rhodes, and we will see you in a week.